As we welcome you back to New Jersey on a beautiful day in September. Temperature in the mid-60s and only partly cloudy. The New York Jets have won the toss, and in a real twist for them, they've elected to receive. They usually defer the opening kick. And you will notice right off the bat, the Jets are wearing those really ugly throwback uniforms to the days of the New York Titans, and players and coaches alike know that they're ugly, but Rex Ryan also knows his team is 4-1. He's wearing them.
Yeah, so he thinks they're beautiful.
Antonio Cromartie is deep. And we're underway. Cromartie's going to run this one out of the end zone. An opening at the 20. Bursts all the way through to the 35. Before William Middleton makes the stop. So the Jets are on offense, and Mark Sanchez, he put it up 44 times against Dallas last week. That ties a career high for him. Don't look for that today. He completed 26 for 335 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. First down, Jets their own 35-yard line. This is Sean Green for a couple. The Jets' offensive line is led by center Nick Mangold. They've heard it all week. The running game needs to resurface today. And Mark Sanchez has plenty of weapons, including tight end Dustin Keller. The Jaguars, well aware of him. They say, Dan, he's a tight end who runs like a wide receiver. 2nd and 8. Green is blown back. Quick toss outside to Keller, and Keller out across the 40 to about the 42. That'll leave it for 3rd and 3. Jacksonville's defensive front still missing Aaron Campman at end, still recovering from a bad knee. Matt Roth replaces him. New additions at linebacker, Clint Session, the former Colt outside. Paul Posluszny, the ex-Buffalo Bill, takes over in the middle. And the Jaguars need their secondary to be better this season. Derek Cox is out today. William Middleton takes his spot at cornerback. LaDainian Tomlinson into the lineup on 3rd down. Sanchez throwing outside. That's complete for the first down. And Tomlinson is out of bounds at about the 48-yard line.
Well, you just see LaDainian Tomlinson's role on this football team right now. He's content with it, and it's Sean Green is going to carry on 1st and 2nd down. On 3rd down, it's Tomlinson, and look at his hands. I mean, that is a ball that a lot of running backs in this league aren't able to pull in, and if they do, it's like 2 out of 10. His hands are so soft and so pure.
3 tight ends on 1st down. This is Green. Maybe a yard if he's lucky. Yeah, LT had 6 catches for 73 yards in the win over Dallas.
Well, and LT's on the sideline watching Sean Green get the 1st down carries. And, that's going to be a story because they were ineffective against Dallas. 2 1st down carries here. The first one goes for 2 yards. The second one goes for 1 yard, bringing up 2nd and longs in both situations.
There is Sean Green, the number 1 back. And the new middle linebacker this season for Jacksonville, Paul Posluszny. On 2nd and 9. Sanchez. This side of the field, wide open is Keller. Keller inside the 20 to the 17.
And you heard Greg just a couple of minutes ago talking about how Dustin Keller can run and get separation. And as he goes down the middle of the field and then becomes a crossing pattern, you can see right there that Courtney Green wasn't expecting that change of direction by Dustin Keller. And Mark Sanchez, justifiably so, in love with Dustin Keller. He's got downfield speed, kind of like Aaron Hernandez has with the Patriots. And boy, when you can do that, and that's unfortunately what the Jaguars are going to miss today with Mercedes Lewis being out.
Well, there's some confusion between Mark Sanchez and the sideline, so the Jets burn a timeout, and we'll be back after this. Not since the 3rd of October in Buffalo last season have the Jets scored a first quarter touchdown, and they'd like to bring that streak to an end right now.
One of the reasons, Greg, they defer a lot of times and give the other team the ball. Rex likes his defense out on the field first.
On first down, the fake to Green. Sanchez over the middle. Touchdown! Santonio Holmes.
Well, I think his quad's okay.
And I think that streak is gone.
And the streak is gone. If you watch Santonio Holmes during warm-ups like we did, he was moving really slowly. He was afraid to really test it. But look at him get up and elevate. And, of course, the double pump by Mark Sanchez, it allows Holmes to do that triple move. And that was really something. That's asking an awful lot for Middleton to stick with a guy through that long. Great protection by the guys up front.
And for all the emphasis to be put on the running game, there were 60 passing yards on that drive and 5 rushing yards, but it results in a touchdown here in the first quarter. Santonio Holmes on the receiving end of a Mark Sanchez touchdown pass. And it's a 7-0 New York Jets lead. Talk about sticking to the plan. Win the toss, drive down, and score.
And there was a lot of excitement on the Jets bench. I thought Brian Schottenheimer was going to jump out of his skin.
Deji Kareem lost the ball coming out of the end zone, picks it up, and is buried short of the 10-yard line. Patrick Turner led the charge, and for the Jaguars, Luke McCown getting his shot, a winner on opening day. This is his 8th season in the NFL. This is his 18th game, his 9th NFL start. Quietly efficient in the Week 1 win over Tennessee. And when we met with him, Dan, I thought quietly confident.
Absolutely, and he said, you know, I just always believed, I never lost faith that I would get my opportunity once again to be a starter in the NFL.
For the first time this season, the Jacksonville Jaguars trail in a game. This is MJD stacked up at the 10. The Jacksonville offensive line, the youngster, his left guard, Will Rackley, the Jaguars' promising rookie, 3rd-round pick out of Lehigh. The offense is missing tight end Mercedes Lewis and wide receiver Jason Hill. All the more reason to watch Maurice Jones-Drew, the touchdown-making machine out of UCLA. There's Mercedes Lewis, the Spectator today. Jones-Drew picked up a yard at 2nd and 9. McCown's first pass of the day, tipped in the air and falls incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 9.
I think Boua got up there and got a hand on that, which, again, a defensive lineman, if you're not getting anywhere near the quarterback, and he was not anywhere near the quarterback, at least get up in the air. And he gets up there and gets it with his left hand.
3rd and 9, and the Jets fans are on their feet. McCown running out of time in the end zone. It's a safety. It's being ruled a safety on the far side of the field.
It looked like a safety to me.
Scott Green is our referee. The rookie Muhammad Wilkerson made the sack. It is a safety.
Well, again, you never know what you're going to get from the Jets in 3rd and long. This is strictly a 3-man rush. And to give up a 3-man rush safety is really embarrassing. That is really tough. And how exciting for the rookie Muhammad Wilkerson to get a safety. But to do it on a 3-man rush, 3 guys against 5, and you end up with a safety.
Wilkerson, the first-round draft pick out of Temple, gets 2 points on the board for the Jets. Thursday on CBS, CYTV guide calls Person of Interest a must-see mystery. Emmy winner Michael Emerson and Jim Caviezel star in Person of Interest, premiering Thursday, only CBS.
Now, a safety is a scoring play, just like a touchdown, so it's subject to an automatic review by the booth, and that's what they're doing right now. Scott Green is under the hood trying to figure out if when Wilkerson actually grabs a hold of Luke McCown, is he in the end zone or not? You can see right there, McCown is giving ground. He gives some ground as he's approached by Wilkerson. And Scott Green is going to have to see enough to overturn the call on the field, which was a safety. And it was made by the linesman who's right down the line.
If it stands, the Jets will have scored 9 points in 64 seconds. Here's Scott Green.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. It is a safety.
If Luke McCown would have stood his ground, now that's easy to say with a 300 and some pound guy coming at him, but he kind of takes a little bit of a half step back. And I think this was so close that Scott Green just doesn't see enough to overturn it. At first blush, I thought it was a safety easily, and then the more I look at it, I'm thinking, wow, that he might have actually been in the field of play, but there's no way he could overturn it.
You see what the Jets defense has done to their opponents in the opponent's last 6 possessions.
Well, that doesn't give you the impression. That gives the impression that they played better than they actually did against Dallas. They had a poor outing against the Cowboys.
This is Jeremy Curley with the return. Squeezes through across the 30 to about the 32 or 33 yard line. And Kasim Osgood, a really good special teams player, makes the stop.
Well, the Jets on the opening drive of the game, very efficient, not so much running the ball on first down, but Mark Sanchez goes to the air to Keller, to Tomlinson, back to Keller again, and then this beautiful catch in elevation by Santonio Holmes to finish off the drive. But again, they're not happy with lack of running on first down, the success thereof.
LaDainian Tomlinson starts this series in the backfield for the Jets. And he gets the direct snap and pulls ahead for a couple of yards to about the 35, and we get our first update of the day across the river to our New York studios. JB and Dan Marino.
All right, Greg, Cam Newton looks a little nervous at the start.
Not really. Opening drive, he's 6 for 7, 90 yards. That touchdown to Brandon LaFell. Cam Newton takes off where he left off last week.
Man, I thought this guy was supposed to be puzzled today. Not there. All right, back to Greg and Dan.
Well, he still has the rest of the day, too. He's looking pretty good so far.
Some start.
You bet. Sean Green back in the lineup, play fake. Sanchez pulls it down, has his man, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Middleton. And Middleton still on his feet and knocked down just shy of the 50-yard line. So the Jaguars turn things around in a hurry.
Well, and Mark Sanchez didn't see the bracket coverage. He sees the coverage deep, but he doesn't see the floater. He doesn't see the floater coming out from underneath. He did not see Middleton. He sees Landry deep.
And Sean Green comes over with a heck of a lick.
Yeah, he sure does. But he saw Landry deep and did not see Middleton falling off from underneath.
Jacksonville now from its own 49-yard line. And McCown to throw. Hit as he was letting go by Calvin Pace, and it's incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, this is, Rex Ryan let his guys know that we lost the battle on the line of scrimmage the last time that we played these guys, and that is not what's happened here in the very early going in the first quarter. This offensive line of Jacksonville is struggling, and McCown doesn't sense pace coming in.
On 2nd and 10, this is Maurice Jones-Drew, and he's dragged down at midfield.
Oh, another nice play by Wilkerson, the rookie from Temple.
Wilkerson is a 6'4", 315-pounder, and the Jets' first-round pick.
He came out of Temple after his junior year, and boy, there's a lot to like about this guy. He's just a natural athlete, light on his feet, got some fluidity. He's able to, he's not a stiff guy. It's, I think, a big upside for Wilkerson.
3rd and 9. That'll be an offside, an encroachment, and that ball's incomplete, but Jaguars will get 5 yards out of this. Jamal Westerman looked to be the player offside for the Jets.
Offside, defense, number 55, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And that is the New York Jets' first penalty of the young season.
Yeah, he had a foot in the neutral zone. He got fooled by McCown's snap count. And that's quite an accomplishment to play an entire game like they did against Dallas without a single yellow flag.
Or without getting caught.
Yeah, see, why do you take that point of view?
3rd and 4. Here come the Jets after McCown. Quick pass inside, and it is well short of the first down. Completed to Mike Thomas, and Kyle Wilson made the stop.
Well, when you know the blitz is coming, you know the quarterback is going to have to get rid of the ball in a hurry, so you sit on everything short, and that Kyle Wilson does a beautiful job of reading that, getting around his own man, and Mike Thomas never has a chance to turn upfield.
Jacksonville only had 18 3-and-outs last year. That was the fewest in the NFL. That's their second today. And here now, the oldest active player in the NFL, Matt Turk, set to kick it away. 43 years of age. Jeremy Curley is deep for the Jets. And he's going to let it go and bounce into the end zone. Jets will put it in play from the 20-yard line. 8 minutes on the nose remaining in the first quarter. 8 minutes exactly remaining here in the first quarter of a game that has seen the Jets put up 9 points, scoring those 9 points within a 64-second span here in the first quarter. They lead at 9-0 as they begin from their own 20-yard line. Sean Green, the deep back. And barely gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe another yard, but no more than that.
And I know for Jets fans, it's nice to have a 9-0 lead, but there's some angst involved here about Sean Green and the lack of production on first down in the running game. And again, there's another 1-yard carry, and Sean Green has been handed this job. Now, you look at that and you say, well, is that a case he can't run, or they're just not great blocking in front of him? That was not a really well-blocked play.
Against Dallas, he had 10 carries for 26 yards. Sanchez running out of time and diving back to the line of scrimmage. He might have gotten a yard, but it looks like it'll be 3rd and 8.
And this, of course, is what every pass rusher in football is going to try to do to Mark Sanchez when he's moving. Look how they go for the football. It's like the tackle was almost secondary then. Try to get a hand on the football. Matt Roth went right in there with his left hand. Mark has done a lot better job as he's evolved in terms of ball security when it comes to fumbling. He used to be wildly reckless when he was a rookie.
Sanchez on 3rd and 8 throwing, and that is complete but short of a first down to Santonio Holmes. Not short by much, but short enough to bring the punting unit onto the field.
No, and that's Holmes' mistake, and he knows it as he heads over to the sideline. It's his responsibility to run that curl pattern and break it off where he knows, even having to come back for the football a little bit, I'm still going to have first down yardage. And while he missed by just a hair, it's still a miss.
T.J. Conley will kick it away for the Jets to Cecil Shorts, who, according to the Jaguars, has an upside through the roof. Tries for the fair catch.
He was
penalty marker
yeah.
is thrown, and that will go against the Jets.
Yeah, Marquise Cole interfered. No doubt about that. You got to stay out of the way and give the opportunity to catch the football.
There is also a penalty marker back upfield at about the 44-yard line.
And thus the conference.
There's only one foul on the play. Fair catch interference. Number 54. 15-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
Well, you hear Scott Green say 54. Actually, it's 34.
Either way,
yeah,
bad for the Jets. There is a stat that will not please head coach Jack Del Rio nor his offensive coordinator Dirk Cutter. 6 offensive plays, the most productive, a 1-yard gain. First down, Jacksonville at its own 44. Maurice Jones-Drew for a couple. A reminder, manage all of your CBS Sports fantasy football teams on your mobile device. Download the free app today at cbssports.com/mobile.
Well, one of the people Jacksonville is missing today is wide receiver Jason Hill, who created quite a flap here during the course of the week, saying that he thought Darrelle Revis and the Jets as a team were kind of overhyped, and just because they are in New York.
Jones-Drew left side, running room, first down and then some. Inside the Jet 40 to about the 36 and a first down.
Well, finally, we've got something going offensively for Jacksonville. Good blocking here as he goes to the left side, a real heavy formation that way, and a good out block by Eugene Monroe. And again, when it comes time to finish a run, Maurice Jones-Drew at 5 feet 7 inches tall knows how to finish. He will put the shoulders down and he will get underneath it.
Jones-Drew going to come this way, and this time dragged down for a loss back at the 39-yard line by Calvin Pace.
You know, that whole Jason Hill flap is just really kind of interesting because, one, why would anybody in their right mind, say that about why would you pick Darrelle Revis of all players? And secondly, you're not suited up for the game. You're injured. You've got a bad hip. You're not playing. And wow, that takes talking trash to an entirely new level of not backing it up.
And Jack Del Rio just wanted to bury his head. Wanted to bury his head.
I would have loved to have heard what he said to him in private.
Second and 12.
He said they had a talk.
McCown will shovel pass to Jones-Drew, and they're back to about the original line of scrimmage.
Well, that was lucky it even got back to the line of scrimmage. The Jets were all over that. I mean, right there, and it's just Calvin Pace does just a wonderful job of identifying that, coming off his outside responsibility, coming back in and instantly hitting Jones-Drew.
Calvin Pace is having an all-world first quarter.
Calvin Pace is a heck of a football player and has been for a long time.
3rd and 10. McCown out of the shotgun. Under the blitz, over the middle, it is incomplete. And close to being picked off by Eric Smith. Eric Smith rolled an ankle in practice this week. Looked okay on that play.
Yeah, he did. And again, though, he's coming across. Eric Smith, it looked to me like he undercuts it beautifully. And I don't know if I'm trying to figure out, did he get his one arm hit as he's coming across? Yeah, maybe just enough contact with Mike Thomas to interfere with his actually making the interception.
Well, Josh Scobie is about to attempt a 55-yard field goal. On its way, and he got it. Josh Scobie from 55 yards out made it look really easy to get the Jaguars on the board. It's 9-3 Jets. When it comes to solving mysteries, she can do anything but forget. Poppy Montgomery and Dylan Walsh star in Unforgettable, premiering Tuesday only CBS. Josh Scobie's 55-yarder, not a career best for him. He kicked a 59-yarder last season against Indianapolis.
You golfers, he had a nice little draw on that thing. Started outside the goalpost and brought it home.
This is Cromartie from about 5 yards deep in the end zone. Across the 20, breaks it to the outside. Foot breaks up the sideline, and he's knocked out of bounds between the 40 and the 45 by Kasim Osgood.
Well, Mike Westhoff knows he's got a gem in Antonio Cromartie returning his kickoffs. He's not built like the typical kickoff guy. He's tall and rangy, but such tremendous speed. But his instincts in the open field. I think everybody knows he holds the record for the longest return at 109 yards of a missed field goal. But he is just got natural instincts on the kickoff return, and that job is his whether he wants it or not now. He's got too much talent not to do it.
He doesn't look like he's really anxious to take a knee in the end zone, does he?
No.
On first down, Sean Green, fake. Sanchez throws and hits Green out across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Go back to that Scobie field goal.
Yeah, he's take a good look at this from behind. I don't know if he's got a natural draw, but that thing is on his way to being wide right, and then look at it come back in. And it gets over the crossbar with maybe a yard to spare. That's not one of those where you say, well, that would have been good from 65. No, that barely eked over, but it did.
Second and 5. Green, first down and then some, inside the 45 to about the 42 of the Jaguars, where Leslie makes the stop.
There was a nice job of blocking by this Jets offensive line. This time they've got the good sir. They got him pinned to the inside. No backside pursuit. It was cut off. Nice job there. Ferguson, Moore, Slauson, they did a good job of sealing the backside rush. 13 total yards for Jacksonville. That is beyond anemic.
First down. Sean Green, right side, squeezes through close to the 35-yard line. Once again, another update from our NFL Today studios. JB and Dan Marino.
All right, Pittsburgh trying to bounce back from that spanking by the Ravens last week.
And here's a little bit of trickery, JB, a reverse pass, Emmanuel Sanders. And he takes a hit here, too. Complete to Hines Ward. That sets up a 1-yard touchdown to Rashard Mendenhall. 7-0, Pittsburgh.
If it takes trickery, let's go with it. All right, back to Greg Gumbel and Dan Deardorff.
Boy, I don't know if I want the Pittsburgh Steelers after they've had a shellacking like the one they took last week.
I'm not sure I'd want the Baltimore Ravens anytime. They're a good club.
On 2nd and 3, Green straight ahead, has the first down just inside the 30-yard line.
Oh, and it looks like somebody's hurt for the Jets. Well, I can see somebody rolling over, grabbing a leg at the end of that play, and that's Nick Mangold, the center. Oh boy.
Let's take a look and see what happened to 74.
There's Nick Mangold on the right of your screen, and there you go. The traffic lands right on top of him. Darryl Smith, the linebacker, falls right on the back of his legs. And he is up and he is limping on his way to the sidelines.
He may hit someone on his way to the sideline. Colin Baxter, the rookie out of Arizona, will replace him for the moment.
Bill Callahan, his offensive line coach, checking on him. Offensive linemen are so vulnerable in finishing a block. You got all your weight on your legs, and that's more than any other type of situation. That's what ends up as an injury, somebody falling on your leg.
And there's really no way you can protect yourself against that, is there?
No.
On a first down, just inside the 30-yard line. Sanchez things up. Short drop, pass to the outside is complete to Derek Mason, the 15-year veteran out of Michigan State. And that will bring us to the end of the first quarter. It has been a good opening quarter for these New York Jets. They lead at 9-3. We're back to MetLife Stadium in New Jersey after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS. It was a very dominant first quarter for the New York Jets, who registered 114 total yards to Jacksonville's 13.
Yeah, well, right now, some of that without Nick Mangold being in there is tarnished a bit. This is Colin Baxter. Went to camp as an undrafted free agent with the Chargers. At the end of camp, they waived him, and the Jets signed him on September the 4th.
2nd and 3. From the shotgun, Sanchez, pump fake, pulls it down on the move and throws it out to the side, where getting nailed is Sean Green after he makes the catch. Rasheem Mathis was right there.
And Nick Mangold, reluctant to sit down. I mean, he really is the old cliche, trying to walk it off. That's what he's doing. And he has been in constant motion ever since he went to the Jets sideline.
Mark Sanchez's first quarter number.
One interception kind of takes the damper off of it, but good solid first quarter against the Cowboys, and then again today.
On 3rd and 2, they'll try it on the ground. Sean Green tripped up and goes down at the 20. He would appear to be about a yard short of a first down. Matt Roth, Tyson Alualu combining on the stop. Jet fans want Rex to go for it. Not going to happen.
Rex is a defensive coach that you don't want to get this far down there and come away with nothing and do that to your defense.
We are told that Mangold's return is questionable with that ankle injury. Meanwhile, here's Nick Folk to attempt a 38-yard field goal. On its way. And good. 13 minutes, 28 seconds remaining in the first half, and the Jets extend their lead to 12-3. Greg Gumbel, Dan Beardorf, and the rest of our CBS Sports crew back in New Jersey. Deji Karim and Montel Owens set to receive the kick. This one's short, very short. This one's going to come down to the 15-yard line to Owens. And Owens returns it across the 25 to about the 28-yard line. Team leaders so far today. Mark Sanchez having a good day throwing the football. As you look at these leaders, Dan, the Jacksonville Jaguars dominated time of possession a week ago against Tennessee, and certainly the safety has hurt their time of possession numbers today, maybe for a series or two, but still they're being dominated.
If the Jaguars don't win the time of possession battle the way they are built, they're in big trouble.
Maurice Jones-Drew tries to bounce off the tackler and gets a couple of yards once again. To James Brown and Dan Marino. Got it.
Hey, Dan, Cutler and the Bears did what last season?
Well, they did win the division, JB, that's for sure. And Jay Cutler, perfect play-action pass right here to Dane Sossenbacher. 8 yards for a touchdown. Chicago's up 7-3.
Not a lot of preseason talk about the Bears, but they're getting it done. Get her done. Let's take it back to Greg and Dan.
I do believe JB is developing an accent.
Did I hear a get her done from JB?
Maurice Jones-Drew flanked out to the near side. McCown over the middle, tipped and almost intercepted. Eric Smith had a shot at it.
Again, a shot at it. I could hear that up here bounce off his chest. And of course, when a ball gets tipped, it changes directions, and it's so hard to catch back up with it. Oh, it hit, I'm sorry, it hit him on the hand. I thought it hit him in the... All right, off a shoulder pad, and then off the hand of Eric Smith. I thought it hit him in the chest. My bad.
3rd and 8. See if the Jets come after McCown. Yes, they do. McCown throws, far side, got his man. Mike Thomas with the catch. And out of bounds at about the 49-yard line.
A good job by Mike Thomas of staying alive. But this is an overload blitz. It's all going to come from the left side. Look, nobody comes from the backside at all. That's a classic Rex Ryan blitz. But you can see right here, Mike Thomas breaks it off underneath the Strickland, and then Strickland not able to make the tackle. I think he just either thought Thomas was going to go out of bounds or go down, one or the other.
What did Mike Thomas tell us last night? When you go up against corners like the Jets have, you find out what you're made of. On first down, Maurice Jones-Drew to about the 40. Well, let's go back to the man with the twang, JB and Dan Maria.
I threw Dan off as well. Go ahead, Dan. Pittsburgh.
Well, look, it's a perfect executed draw play right up the middle, 20 yards. Isaac Redmond for the touchdown, putting Pittsburgh up 14-0. Let's hear that twang again.
Hey, Greg and Dan, those are my Mississippi roots on my mother's side. Let's get her done. Back to Greg and Dan.
That's nice, JB. That's nice. That's a nice one.
JB, the TV guy.
2nd and 5. Count. Tipped and incomplete. Zach Miller covered closely on the play.
Well, first of all, let's see what kind of pressure McCown is under. I would call that a lot. Bart Scott puts him on the ground, and then David Harris had the coverage.
There is the backup quarterback and the only other quarterback on the roster for the Jaguars, Blaine Gabbert, first-round draft pick out of Missouri. 3rd and 5. McCown looking, throwing, incomplete on the far side of the field. Intended for Jamar Newsom, covered by Darrelle Revis.
Darrelle Revis had coverage so tight, I couldn't even see the receiver. It's Newsom, but Darrelle Revis, I mean, when he makes his turn, when he makes it, look at that. I don't know what Luke McCown was thinking in terms of what his odds are of completing that pass, but they were really, really slim.
Matt Turk trying to hang it up. Jeremy Curley let it bounce again and gets it to roll into the end zone for the touchback. 11:07 remaining. First half. Jets 12-3. Gorgeous, gorgeous shots on this Sunday afternoon in Manhattan. As we welcome you back, and the Jets begin at their own 20-yard line. 36 yards rushing for the Jets today, and LaDainian Tomlinson flanked as a receiver. Sanchez eludes the pressure and slides down at the 25-yard line, and a late flag comes in. Darrell Smith hit him a little bit too late.
Personal foul. Defense, number 52. Helmet-to-helmet contact as the quarterback went down. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Well, first of all, what a nice job by Sanchez of getting away from Roth. And then he pumps it, and as he's going down, and you can, this again, Darrell Smith had the option, it looked like at the last minute, to sail over the top of Sanchez, making contact, hitting him with his shoulder, but it was face mask to face mask. That is going to get called.
Antonio Cromartie is in motion, takes the pitch, trying to turn the corner, and is out of bounds just across the 40-yard line.
Well, that's the second time now. They did it once in the Dallas game. He was strictly a decoy in that offensive set, but this time you can see the Cromartie tries to get the edge, but you got to give a lot of credit to Rashean Mathis. He honored his responsibilities, stayed home, kept contained, and wouldn't allow it to happen. If Cromartie gets the edge and gets a couple steps upfield, look out.
2nd and 9. Sanchez to front. Short clock is complete across the 45, and out to midfield is John Connor Let's see what kind of language JB is talking now. Back to JB and Dan.
Much better, Greg. Buffalo's Ryan Fitzpatrick makes a mistake and
off of an interception, Oakland goes in the end zone for a second time. Cutting back outside, Darren McFadden goes in, 5-yard touchdown. Oakland up 14-0.
I think I better articulate a little better, Greg. So let me throw it back to Greg and Dan.
Yug dugga 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 dugga. Thank you, guys.
Hey, John Connor gets in on the offensive action there a little bit with the reception. This second-year guy taking over for Tony Richardson.
Jets at midfield on first down. Play fake. Sanchez moving. Penalty marker is down as Sanchez has first down yardage and slides down at the 35, but the flag thrown back upfield, which might indicate a hold.
Personal foul, number 78, offense grabbing the face mask, 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's sort of a hold.
Well, that is, boy, that's a backbreaker of a penalty, too, being 15 yards. But Wayne Hunter is the guy that gets flagged. He had a lot of good last week. He had some bad. He certainly a couple times had a tough time with DeMarcus Ware, but get in line. People who have a tough time with DeMarcus Ware are all over the National Football League. But Damian Woody is gone. Wayne Hunter is the guy now at right tackle. But this is, first and 25s are never very cool.
No penalty yardage for the Jets last week. 35 yards in penalties so far today. Sanchez to the near side, and that's complete to Matthew Mulligan, out of bounds. Well, I'm running out of ways to throw it back. JB and Dan, take it away.
That's all good too, Greg. Shades of Dan Marino here.
Hey, I appreciate it, JB. Drew Brees, time to throw, looking down the middle of the field. Devery Henderson, look at this. That's a perfect throw. 79 yards for a touchdown. Saints go up 10-7.
And Dan was just as fleet-footed in his day as well, too. Back to Greg and Dan.
Dan Deerdorf, you and I will see Drew Brees and those New Orleans Saints a week from today as they take on Houston. Second and 19.
Run!
This is LT. And LaDainian Tomlinson, not much there. A reminder, keep up with the NFL when you're on the go. The NFL's mobile apps are all new for the 2011 season. Go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more.
Well, they tried to get it in something a little more manageable, but they picked up 10 yards in the last two plays, but still a 3rd and 15. But this is not an exotic front you're seeing here from Jacksonville. This is just one-on-one matchups. It's not the scheme that'll beat you.
Tomlinson alongside Sanchez in the backfield. That is intercepted by Mathis. Rasheed Mathis pulled it down. And he's pulled down at the 40-yard line. Second pick of the day against Sanchez.
Boy, and that really looked like Mark Sanchez just locked in on it. He's got the 3 receivers to this side of the field, and he stared them down.
And you saw Rasheed Mathis doing his little imitation of a flying jet. Well, Mark Sanchez has yet to throw a pass that hit the ground today. 10 completions to his teammates. And 2 picks by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, his defense stood tall and didn't give anything up on his first interception. Let's see about number 2.
Deji Kareem with his first carry to the 45. Let's go back to the picks.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez had 3 receivers right here, all the way over here. But watch it. Here's Rasheed Mathis. You'd think he's locked up on the outside, but he's going to come back in on Santonio Holmes, who's in the slot. And this is so hard for a quarterback. But you can see he just gives up on the wide out all the way to the sideline and lets Mark Sanchez, his eyes, take him right into the slot to Santonio Holmes. A real gamble.
Once again, straight up the middle to about the 47 or 48 is Kareem. And for Rasheed Mathis, that's career interception number 30, which is easily number 1 all time for Jacksonville.
And you talk to any quarterback in the league, and they'll say he gambles. And sometimes he gets burned, sometimes he wins big. and that was a case where he gambled, but I think it was an educated gamble because Mark was really looking at Santonio Holmes.
Didn't we hear somewhere that the Jets were going to run the ball today and run? 3rd and 3.
I think it's called ground and pound, isn't it?
McCown looking, throws, hit his man on the move. Jarrett Dillard, third-year receiver out of Rice, and that'll be a first down.
Boy, and that's his first reception of the season, and this is nice touch by McCown. Now, McCown is comfortable on the move. He can run. He always has. But take a look at that touch. And did Dillard get that second foot down? Did that thing? Yeah.
Here comes the flag.
Yeah, really.
And the challenge from Rex Ryan.
Dillard was a little nonchalant in not trying to dot that I and get that foot down.
New York is challenging the ruling on the field that it's a completed pass.
There's a catch. There's the left and the right. Oh, this will be fun. We'll be back. And we've looked at this a couple of times, and I don't know that we can see.
I'm just not sure there's enough to overturn it.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands.
When we look at it, and we'll look at it again right here. All right, there's left possession. This is, when you look at that right there, if you're to make an educated guess, you'd say, well, geez, it kind of looks like it's out of bounds. But if your job is to overturn the call on the field, are you getting a definitive enough of a look to overturn it? I think Scott Green did the right thing.
I agree. We didn't see his foot out of bounds.
I didn't see it in black and white.
Jets lose a timeout. They have one remaining. This pass is intercepted by Cromartie. Inside the 5, and here he comes. Back to the 20. The 30. And knocked out of bounds at the 41-yard line.
Well, I tell you, Antonio Cromartie just will not step out of bounds. This guy, you gotta love it. Well, this pass from Luke McCown just sails. There's no other way to describe this. A terrible overthrow as he's trying to go to Mike Thomas. That ball just floated away from him at the very beginning, and for Cromartie, this is easy pickings.
And count the Jets in the area.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
No. It was a poor decision to go to that receiver, and it was really a poorly executed throw.
So for the second time today, Jacksonville gets nothing off of a Jet turnover. And it's the Jets' ball at their own 40-yard line. Sean Green in the backfield behind Sanchez. Green turning the corner. Penalty marker flies, and another flies. So we've got a couple of flags down. There's Nick Mangold. Kind of looking anxious to get back into the game.
It's a really good sign that he's out there and still suited up.
Holding. Offense. Number 78. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Wow. A couple back-to-back bad series here for Wayne Hunter. He had the face mask for 15 yards the previous series, and now he starts this one off with a hold. His gift to the Jets last series was a 1st and 25. Now it's a 1st and 20.
Getting better.
You know what? There's always a bright side, isn't there?
Jets back to their own 30-yard line. Green. Shakes a tackle. And gets those 10 yards back to the original line of scrimmage.
Well, what Mark Sanchez has to do with what all quarterbacks have to do, and that's just have a short memory. He threw that pick last week, and today, of course, he's already got 2 of them. And you know what? You just got to put it behind you and move on. And again, getting production like that on first down, like they just got from that run by Sean Green, will be a big help. That's considering we haven't played 6 full quarters yet. not a great start.
Green 8 for 43 on the ground. And LT is hit hard by Terrence Knight, who has one of the more endearing nicknames.
Pot Roast. He came to camp. Now, remember, there was no off-season workouts, so there was a lockout. He came in a little overweight, to say the least. No one is quite sure how much he weighed. It was way up there, and he's not allowed to play for the Jaguars until he gets below 340. That's the limit that Jack Del Rio has set for him, and he's under 340, thus he's out there. But if he's under 340, it's by a very small margin.
From the shotgun, Sanchez pulling it down a couple of times on the run. He's going to run for the first down across midfield. He has it and out of bounds at about the 46 of the Jaguars.
Mark looks like, why did he hit me? Because, Mark, you slowed down in the field of play. John Chick is the defensive lineman who chases him, but Mark, if you're in the field of play, you're still right there. He's stopping. What? You're still in the field of play when he makes initial contact with you. If you're going to run out of bounds, run out of bounds. You can't coast to a halt while you're still in the green part of the field. You're going to get hit.
First down, Jets at the Jacksonville 46. Sanchez to throw. Being chased and threw it out of bounds. Darrell Smith was hassling Sanchez.
Right there, Darrell Smith giving Mark his opinion of that play. But that was a smart play by Sanchez, getting over there, and he's outside the pocket, so as long as he gets the ball back up to the line of scrimmage, he can just throw it into the bench like that. Well, as you can see, the Jets are back to a little more balance in terms of their running and passing plays. Totally out of whack last week.
3:21 to play in the half. Sanchez going to throw it, and that's incomplete.
Well, there's Darrell Smith again. He's the lone remaining starting linebacker for Jacksonville as they brought in Clint Session and Paul Posluszny. But how's that for some coverage? Does not get a whole lot better than that. Darrell Smith in his 8th year has been a solid, steady player his whole career.
3rd and 10. Jets 2 out of 5 on 3rd down conversions today. And Sanchez under pressure throws it out here to the near side. Matthew Mulligan makes the catch, but won't get the first down.
Wayne Hunter is really struggling at right tackle because he gets beat around the edge, and Mark Sanchez is flying around there trying to save himself. There's Hunter, number 78, right there at the bottom, and look how he turns his shoulder. I mean, he's got his back to the line of scrimmage after about 4 or 5 yards set. That is a terrible spot for an offensive tackle to be.
Cecil Shorts is deep for Jacksonville. Catch called for and made at about the 10-yard line, and that's where Jacksonville will go to work on offense with 2:28 on the clock. Tomorrow, Dave is all new with CSI's Ted Danson, and then later this week, Taylor Lautner and Medal of Honor recipient Sergeant Dakota Meyer, followed by Craig Ferguson, only CBS.
Well, now it's Luke McCown's turn to do what Mark Sanchez had to do the last time. Try to put it out of your mind that you threw an interception the last time you threw the football.
McCown is just 4 of 11 today for 47 yards and an interception. Maurice Jones-Drew up the middle and doesn't go down easily.
There's a look at what I mentioned earlier about finishing runs. This is how you finish. 5-7 or 6-7, it doesn't matter. Cromartie and Eric Smith were both on the receiving end of that.
Well, They get a chance to rest from that collision with MJD. 2 minutes to play. Hey, coming up, the Sprint halftime report. Join JB, Dan, Boomer, Coach Cowher, and Chris Jenkins, who is filling in while Shannon's out in Denver for his Hall of Fame ring ceremony. And our congratulations again to him. All the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Maurice Jones-Drew. You know, Bart Scott told us when we talked to him yesterday, you give him a shot and he stumbles and he keeps his balance.
Well, he said, it's his center of gravity. And, Eric Smith, watch Eric Smith there, number 30. He's going to try to get lower. He does a good job of getting low, but how do you get below Maurice Jones-Drew?
This is Jones-Drew at the screen. The problem is when you get low on Maurice Jones-Drew, then you're down to about head high on him.
And it's so deceiving because maybe I'm sure he's tired during the course of his career being written off because he's only 5'7". But talk to anybody who plays in the NFL and they'll just tell you this might be the most powerful running back in the National Football League.
Jacksonville has used one of its timeouts. They now have 2 remaining. Maurice Jones-Drew, by the way, 1,324 yards rushing a season ago.
And he missed the last 2 games, and he had a bad knee to begin with. That's pretty impressive. When you stop to think, he was hobbled basically the entire season. Didn't play the final 2 games, and still cranked out 1,324 yards, and 7 of those games were 100 yards plus, 6th in a row.
On first down, count over the middle, intercepted. Eric Smith went up and picked it out of the air, and he is down at about the 44-yard line.
Wow, of all the mistakes to make just prior to a halftime, there is a flag on the ground. I don't know that this was during the Jacksonville being on offense part of the play.
After the interception, personal foul, Jacksonville, number 75.
Wow.
15-yard penalty, first down.
That penalty is on Eugene Monroe, the left tackle.
Man, whatever you do, you don't want to give the Jets another chance right before halftime. Little fake on play action, and Eric Smith, who's underneath, he's a defensive back, but he's lined up in the position of a linebacker. Like all these Jets defenders, they're so versatile, and what a great job. And he's had a couple chances and some interceptions already in this game. That time he did a superb job of elevating.
Neither team has taken advantage of a turnover to score in this game. This is the 4th turnover of the day. The Jets in great position at the 28. LaDainian Tomlinson maybe loses a yard.
I think Terrence Knight, the defensive tackle, was in the backfield there, and he ruined that play.
Jets with 1 timeout remaining. Clock continues to move. We have a minute to play in the half.
Back judge fucking.
Sanchez. That one is complete inside the 25 to Dustin Keller to about the 22.
And again,
45 seconds to play.
Here we go with a little hurry up. This is, points in a Jacksonville game are precious.
And all kinds of movement. The snap didn't come.
Well, keep in mind, that's a new center. That's the rookie. Baxter's in there at center because of the injury to Nick Mangold.
False start. Offense, number 65. It's a 5-yard penalty.
See, that's the one good thing about being the center. If you don't snap the football, someone else gets called for the false start. They don't penalize the center. They don't call him out, even though it's his mistake.
You're talking about that like you've had experience.
No, I'm just saying it's just one of those things. It's not ultimately fair. It is a good sign that Nick is standing there, and as you can see, he's never missed the game.
I wouldn't rule him out of the rest of this one.
Neither is DeBrickashaw Ferguson, his line mate at left end.
There's a foul that stops the clock. It also requires a 10-second runoff, or the team may choose to use a timeout. New York has chosen to use the 3rd and final timeout.
So the 35 seconds will remain on the clock, but the Jets are now out of timeouts. In case you missed it earlier, this is what happened to Nick Mangold.
Yeah, he's right there on the right side of your screen, number 74. You can see that Darryl Smith gets swung around and lands right on the back of his right leg. And again, we talked about that offensive linemen are really vulnerable to that type of a situation happening. But, you know, it's a good sign that Nick's walking around. He's putting weight on it. And Mr. Baxter has been a member of the New York Jets for 2 weeks. The rookie finds himself right in the middle of it.
50 penalty yards on the Jets today. 0 in the win over Dallas. Sanchez, little pop over the middle, incomplete. In and out of the hands of LT.
Wow, you don't see that very often. And LT had a lot of green space behind him if he could have pivoted and taken off downfield. That is one of the most sure-handed running backs ever to have played the game.
So Nick Folk will come on to attempt what looks to be about a 45-yard field goal attempt. On its way and looking good. Nick Folk drilled that one. And with 26 seconds remaining to be played here in the first half, the Jets extend their lead over the Jaguars to 15-3. And a reminder, the Sprint halftime report coming up. JB, Dan, Boomer, Coach Cowher, Chris Jenkins standing by with all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Sprint halftime report.
Well, 15-3 is hardly an insurmountable lead, but with what we've seen of Jacksonville offensively, it's got to be a source of some comfort to the Jets. It is a beautiful afternoon here in New Jersey. The sun is out. It's mid to upper 60s. Yeah, Greg takes credit for all positive things.
Hey, sun is out, all warmth and sunshine. I'll take that.
Mike Westhoff even took off his pullover. It's such a nice day out here. How happy was he with that blocked punt last week by Joe McKnight?
His bread and butter. No good. Daisy Kareem will run it out of the end zone. And across the 20 to about the 22, maybe the 23-yard line. Now, Jacksonville has 2 timeouts remaining and 20 seconds on the clock.
Well, I don't know that they're going to ask Luke McCown to perform any miracles here in the last 20 seconds on the heels of that last interception. Why do I feel a handoff coming?
There is the rookie, and you know, Jack Del Rio makes no bones about it. This is the future of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, certainly when you use the 10th pick in the entire draft to draft a guy.
And there is the expected handoff. Maurice Jones-Drew, and that should probably run out the rest of the clock here in the first half.
But the thing about Gabbert is that he's not ready yet. He's not yet ready. Keep in mind, no off-season program, no OTAs, no mini camps. Eventually he'll be there, but it's not this week and it's not next week.
And everybody knows eventually he'll be there. We run out of time here in the first half, and that's the end of it. Jets lead it by a score of 15-3. Back in the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. This is the NFL on CBS. Jets are leading Jacksonville by a score of 15-3, just ahead of the start of the third quarter. Greg Gumbel along with Dan Deerdorf. Any high that the Jacksonville Jaguars had been feeling off of their opening win over Tennessee has all but dissipated, Dan. They had 390 total yards in that game. They have less than 100 so far today.
And they're a team that's built on a basic premise of we run the ball, we monopolize the time of possession, and then you got to play catch up. And now they have to play catch up, and that's not their strong suit.
Yeah, let's take a look at the NFL mobile recap presented by Verizon. One of the good things the Jets have done today.
Well, a lot of teamwork involved here in that play action pass. Mark Sanchez gets great blocking from his offensive line. You actually saw Santonio Holmes there with the ability to run a triple move. So, yeah, it takes a lot of teamwork to pull that off.
And the Jets will kick it away to start the second half. Deji, Kareem, and Montel Owens are deep for Jacksonville. Nick Folk, the kick. Returnable. From the 3, it's Kareem. And he is out to about the 17 or the 18-yard line as we take a look at some numbers from the first half, man.
Well, you take a look at this, and really, yardage-wise, pretty good for the Jets, but you can't get past the fact that both quarterbacks have each thrown 2 interceptions. Now, it is kind of, you get 4 turnovers and a grand total of only 3 points scored off of those turnovers. The defense is doing their job, but Luke McCown is, against this defense and the looks he's going to see from Rex Ryan, might be a real interesting second half for him.
Maurice Jones-Drew going to start it off on the ground and running room on the left side. First down yardage across the 30 and out to about the 33 or 34-yard line.
Well, that's a help. That is a big help if they can get something going in the running game. And this was designed to go between right guard and right tackle, and Maurice Jones-Drew ends up going all the way around his left end with it. Great vision, and again, a good backside seal to allow him to get out there.
63 yards rushing for MJD on the afternoon. On first down, once again, it's 32. And this time he is stacked up at about the 36.5-yard line. And we asked him about Bart Scott last night, man, and he says, one thing I do respect about Bart Scott, he goes hard every play. So now, just because you respect him doesn't mean you have to like him.
No, and he says, I don't. As a matter of fact, I got the impression Maurice Jones-Drew doesn't like a lot of people that we were talking about. And you know what? He's a running back. They're trying to take him apart during the course of the game. I can see it's not exactly a place to make lifelong friends.
On 2nd and 7, McCown throws first pass of the second half over the middle, and that's on the money to his tight end, Zach Miller. And that is about a yard short of a first down.
Well, we knew coming into this game that without Mercedes Lewis playing in this game that the Jacksonville Jaguars were missing one of their big offensive weapons. He's a Pro Bowler. He's 6'6", 275, such a huge target down the middle of the field. And there he is over there, not where the Jaguars want him, wearing a T-shirt and a baseball hat. But it makes it a lot easier to defend a team without him in there.
3rd and 1. McCown rolling, and throws to the sideline. It is incomplete. Maurice Jones-Drew making the reception, but appeared to be out of bounds. And that'll force the kick.
Well, a drive that looked a little promising with a couple of good runs at the beginning stalls. But it wasn't exactly a quarterback clinic being put on in the first 30 minutes of this game. I'll be interested to see if Mark Sanchez settles down and has a good, productive second half.
Jeremy Curley, the rookie from TCU, is deep for the Jets. And that Turk, look at how high he gets this one. Fair catch called for, and then he lets it bounce, and it takes a jet bounce all the way back to the 30-yard line. So Sanchez in the offense, back to work after this. 15-3 Jets. Hey, our thanks to the MetLife Blimp for providing terrific aerial coverage of all the drama below. Look for MetLife Blimps Snoopy 1 and 2 when they pass through a town near you. On first down, this is Sean Green, and Green hit as he crosses the line of scrimmage and out to about the 31-yard line.
How about this? Mark Sanchez realizes the official left his hat over on the sideline there. Someone went out of bounds. Hey, that's a courteous look at this. What a courteous group of guys playing for the Jets.
Yeah, this will probably help them in any future calls, don't you think?
Their mothers will be so proud. I mean, obviously some young men that were raised the right way.
Meanwhile, the Jets were just called for an illegal formation, so obviously all of that do-gooder stuff didn't do them any good. They're at the 24-yard line, 1st and 15. There's an early snap. Boy, that play looked bad right from the get-go. Vijay Duzable in on Sean Green, who is slow getting up.
Well, at first blush, I thought the ball wasn't snapped. It almost looked like it was snapped early. And again, Nick Mangold is over on the sideline, and Colin Baxter, a free agent rookie, is playing center. And that really looked like an early snap that took all the offensive guys by surprise. And Sean Green paid the price for it.
Like Colin Baxter living by his own snap count out there.
Well, you think his head's spinning a little bit?
2nd and 21. LaDainian Tomlinson in the backfield. Gets the handoff. Trying to turn the corner on the right side and is run out of bounds by Rashean Mathis.
And you're starting to hear a little grumbling from the assembled masses here at MetLife Stadium about this Jets offense just not sinking at all today. They had the one really good drive that culminated in a touchdown pass from Sanchez to Santonio Holmes.
3rd and long yardage. And they're going to run it. Tomlinson wrapped up before he reaches the 25-yard line. Here come the boos again.
Well, you've got a strong defense. It's apparent your offense is not really clicking. In a 3rd and really long yardage situation like that, it's not the end of the world to hand it off, punt it away, and get the best part of your team out on the field.
And play a little field position game. Cecil Shorts hoping for a return here. Dodges the first tackler and is run down at about the 43-yard line. 10:45 to play, 3rd quarter. 15-3 Jets. Will be right back. The Jacksonville offense from its own 44. Maurice Jones-Drew, the deep back, takes the pitch, looking for a block and finds a hole up the middle. Into Jet territory to the Jets' 46-yard line and close to a first down. That may be enough for a first down.
And Jacksonville really in a run formation. They've got an extra offensive tackle in the game. That time Eben Britton is playing tight end, and he's to the point of attack. He gets a great block. Jones-Drew cuts in right behind him. But boy, Jacksonville really declaring themselves being in a run formation and still executing.
Jones-Drew again. Dipping outside. This time he's thrown for a loss. You talked about how he has an edge to him, Dan. And the fact is, we've known him for years, ever since he came into the league. And he is just tired of hearing that he's too small to play this game.
Yeah, and I know that, I don't know what the view is from down there looking, standing in an NFL huddle. But I just have to think that a chip on your shoulder is always positive. I mean, it's in this game it helps, but the reality is you can't have any more respect around the NFL than Maurice Jones-Drew has.
McCown to throw. On the crossing pattern, Mike Thomas incomplete. Terrific effort for the ball, but it touched grass.
Well, Mike Thomas, all 5'8" of number 80, he tries to squeeze every inch out of his frame in laying out for this pass. Look at that. But you can see, yep, it bounces off the ground and then up between his legs. Tremendous effort by Thomas. Just a little bit of an overthrow. And now the down that Luke McCown wants nothing to do with. 3rd and long.
And he calls a timeout. Saw something he didn't like. He'll take a break, and so will we. 15-3 Jets. Look at those people enjoying a nice day. 3rd and 13 for the Jaguars. McCown needs the 36-yard line for a first down.
A lot of Jets on the line of scrimmage.
And here they come. McCown got rid of it. Sideline incomplete. Pass intended for Kasim Osgood.
And again, another classic overload blitz by the Jets. Almost abandoning coming from one side, but from the other side, more people than you can block. I mean, for this time from our right side, take a look at it. You run out of blockers. McCown realizes it, to his credit, so he runs away from it. Kyle Wilson there, and he just, again, a little more accurate a throw, and he might have had a little something.
Jeremy Curley deep to the Jets at his own 10. Matt Turk has been booming today. And this one, he drops inside the 5 and bounces back to about the 7. 43-year-old Matt Turk, nice job. Hey, Entertainment Weekly, People Magazine, and USA Today all picked Two Broke Girls as one of TV's best new shows, premiering tomorrow after 2.5 Men only, CBS. Kasim Osgood getting a little attention. Meanwhile, the Jet defense, how's this? The last 13 drives by an opponent. 2 fumbles, 3 interceptions, 6 punts, a field goal, a safety.
Good news is Sean Green is back in there after that big hit he took last possession.
Sanchez throwing up the middle, got his man Dustin Keller. Keller off to the races, across the 40 to the 45.
Well, this guy just continues to get better and better. 4th year, it seems like he's been around longer than that. Nice play action to Green, and wow, did Mark just squeeze that in. Posluszny, look how close he came to getting a hand on that ball. But look at that move by Keller, spinning away. You know, you don't expect that out of a tight end. That's Maurice Jones-Drew kind of move.
First down now at their own 45. Keller, 4 catches for 80 yards today. Sanchez, little flip. And this is Jeff Cumberland, and Cumberland wrapped up at about the 47, maybe a gain of a yard and a half. Meanwhile, Plexico Burris not on the field, and in fact has not been targeted at all today yet by Mark Sanchez.
Well, he had a really nice game last Sunday night, and you just expected him to be a bigger part. I'm not sure if he's just limbering up trying to stay loose, or just doesn't fit into the game plan today.
This is Sean Green spinning across midfield to the 49. We hop across the river once again. JB, Dan Marino, got it.
All right, Greg and Dan, Titans are doing the job there against Baltimore.
Here we go. Hasselbeck fakes it upside. Then he flips it out to Javon Ringer. He goes untouched, 10 yards for a touchdown. Tennessee battling against Baltimore, up 17-10.
Getting it done. Back to Greg Gumbel, Dan Deardorff.
Wow.
They're going to have their own banjo for a second. You know? Here comes Plexico Burris back onto the field. 3rd and 4. Sanchez, gonna run for it. Going to get the first down. Penalty marker flies as he gets belted.
Well,
Penalty marker flies there.
Well, that's so obviously a personal foul.
And that's his ex-teammate, Dwight Lowry.
Wow. Mark was well out of bounds when he got that shove.
There are two ex-Jets in that Jacksonville team. One is Dwight Lowry and the other is Drew Coleman.
Jack Del Rio really pleading his case.
And getting an audience.
Right.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Illegal contact, number 26, defense. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Jacksonville, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, this time, Mark Sanchez runs all the way to the sidelines. And he gets the shove from Lowry. You can see, you can see what Jack Del Rio was saying. When you look at it in slow motion, it doesn't look as bad as it did in live action. There's the illegal contact by Landry, riding him beyond the 5-yard zone. But Lowry, he wasn't as far out of bounds as I thought he was when Lowry first makes contact with him. No argument about that.
Jets with a first down at the Jacksonville 27. Sanchez to throw. Rolling, throws, complete to Green out of the backfield. And Green very close to a first down.
Greg, when we go back to that last one on Lowry, the other thing you have to keep in mind, anytime it's a quarterback, while the rules don't specifically say it's different, it is different.
You can't throw dirt on him.
It is different.
Ineligible downfield on a pass, number 65. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So that'll eliminate a pretty good gain and back the Jets up, courtesy of Brandon Moore's penalty.
Offensive linemen in the National Football League have been getting away with this more and more, where they head downfield early while the ball hasn't been thrown yet, and there's kind of a grace period. There's a space in there, a cushion, if you will. And
was that you?
No. These guys, some guys really push it. But you've got to be pretty far down there to get called on.
First and 15. Sean Green, nothing there. He's piled up at the 31. Let's go back to the NFL Today studio and the Oak Ridge boys.
Oh, is that what Greg said? Well, let me go to the Oak guy himself.
Here you go. Play action pass. Aaron Rodgers rolls to his right. The safeties bite. Perfect throw to Greg Jennings. 49 yards for a touchdown as Green Bay goes ahead of Carolina. 17-13.
So quarterbacks are treated a little differently, as Dan was saying?
Well, they should be, especially we can say.
Go ahead, Greg and Dan.
LaDainian Tomlinson in the backfield. 2nd and 14 for the Jets. Sanchez throwing. Threading the needle. Did he make that? Santonio Holmes with the catch inside the 15-yard line for a first down.
Well, one thing when you watch Mark Sanchez for a while, when he decides he's got to get it there in a hurry, he can get it there in a hurry. He has got a cannon for a right arm, and that illustrated it right there. Nice job by Holmes of coming back for it, digging it out. But boy, that ball had some old-fashioned mustard on it.
This is the longest drive of the day for either side. 79 yards. Plexico Burr spread to the near side of the field. This is Sean Green to the 11.
Terrence Knighton and Colin Baxter, the rookie, are doing the old push-shove deal going on in there.
That's about a combined 650 pounds.
Again, though, if you're part of, if you're Brian Schottenheimer and Bill Callahan and the Jets offensive brain trust, you're not happy with your first down runs. They're just very inconsistent.
Burris now to the top of your screen on 2nd and 8. Sanchez over the middle. Touchdown, Dustin Keller. And once again, where there doesn't appear to be much room, Sanchez sticks it in.
Mark Sanchez on this drive has thrown the ball into a couple of very tight windows. All right, there's Keller right there working on Postlesny. He gets some separation, and again, I don't know how many inches separated Paul Postlesny's fingers in that football, but it wasn't very far. That was a beautiful throw from Sanchez.
Nick Folk with the extra point, and it is good, and we have 3:50 to play in the third quarter. The New York Jets extend their lead to 22-3. Dustin Keller, his second touchdown catch of the young season. The colorful deck of the Intrepid at anchor not far from here. Deji Kareem will run this one out from 3 yards deep in his own end zone and gets tripped up and goes down at about the 15-yard line. Once again, McCown and company will start deep in their own territory when we come back. One of the faster linebackers around, Paul Postlesny, wasn't quite fast enough on that touchdown pass to Keller. So McCown and the Jacksonville offense from its own 15-yard line. Maurice Jones-Drew. Let's go back to that touchdown.
Yeah, well, first of all, Greg, it's going to start with the pre-snap recognition by Mark Sanchez, and he says this, look, there's one safety, there's the other safety. Look at the middle of this field for Dustin Keller to make his move on Postlesny. So Postlesny has got a lot of real estate right there to try to defend, and when Keller goes to the inside, if Postlesny doesn't touch the ball, how are you going to keep Keller from scoring? I mean, it was well executed, but boy, that's a lot of area for one middle linebacker to try to defend by himself.
On 2nd and 7, play fake, McCown on the run and dives across the 20-yard line. And once again, back to the studio to JB and Dan.
Drew Brees will make you pay for mistakes, Danny.
And off a Jay Cutler fumble, Drew Brees finds Robert Meacham. 4-yard touchdown. Drew Brees' second touchdown of the day. The Saints up 23-13.
Since 06, Boomer says he thinks he's the best quarterback in the league. Drew Brees back to Greg Gumbel, Dan Deardorff.
All right, guys, thank you. As I mentioned earlier, Dan and I will be in New Orleans next week. Watch the Saints play host to the Houston Texans. Meanwhile, this play clock down to 3, to 2, to 1, and a timeout is called just before they get hit with the penalty. So the change was late happening on the field for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's 2 timeouts burned already here in the second half. And we remind you, it's a doubleheader day here on CBS. Up next, Phillip Rivers and the Chargers, Tom Brady and the Patriots, those Houston Texans visiting the Dolphins down in Miami, Cincinnati paying a visit to the Denver Broncos. Check your local listings for the game in your area.
A lot going on there with the Chargers and the Patriots. So I think the air might be filled with footballs in that game between Tom Brady and Phillip Rivers and all the talent they've got going for each other. I heard the guy say, what, Drew Brees, the best quarterback in the league since 06, I guess. What, Tom Brady, I guess, doesn't even get a mention there, doesn't. Wow. Bird in hand, I guess.
McCown throwing this side, intercepted, picked off by Cromartie to the 5, and a touchdown. Antonio Cromartie looked like he saw that one was coming from the break of the huddle. 27 yards on the return.
Well, again, this is Luke McCown's 9th start in his 8-year career. And you just can't make these kind of mistakes on the road against a good football team. and you don't challenge. You don't tug on Superman's cape a great deal by challenging Cromartie and Rivas on the outside in an obvious situation like that.
And as is standard in the NFL this year, every scoring play will be reviewed, and this one will be too.
Well, it's a close play right at the end as to whether or not Cromartie got into the end zone. But again, just so obvious, Luke McCown never looked anywhere else. You know, Cromartie was carrying the football in his left hand.
That just may have broken the plane outside.
Let's see this as far as does he...
Switches it over to the left side.
And as he flies through the air, does he touch the football on the ground? First of all, I mean, just undercutting it. That's just reading it all the way. No, his foot lands out of bounds before he gets the ball back in, but it's just a question of whether or not the ball breaks the plane.
Once again, we're talking about whether or not...
Well, it's got to cross the plane before he lands with his foot out of bounds.
Right, but we're talking about whether or not there's enough evidence to overturn it, but with the ball in his left hand, you don't see it crossing the goal line inbounds. That's way on the outside. And then he brings it back in to touch it.
But not until his foot touched out of bounds.
Right.
That's McCown who actually gets over there and forces the play. Scott Green has got to see enough to overturn it. As Greg mentioned, the call on the field was touchdown.
After reviewing the play, as the runner ran towards the goal line, the ball was outside of the pylon. Therefore, it's not a touchdown. The ball will be spotted at the half-yard line. First down.
Yeah, when he put the ball into his left hand, he took it outside the pylon.
Antonio looks like he knew it.
I mean, technically, you're doing the right thing. You want to put the football in your other hand when you see a tackler coming, but if your goal is to break the plane, and that's exactly what happened there. That little switch right there to the left hand cost him a touchdown.
So let's see how long Luke McCown delayed the inevitable. Sean Green and John Connor in the backfield. This is Green diving and didn't get there. Second and goal.
Well, look at the penetration there by Jacksonville, and they take the rookie and they blow him back. Baxter again filling in for Mangold. He ends up, well, look at that. He just gets completely overpowered, and that forces Sean Green to try to cut back.
Green again. This time he penetrates for the touchdown. New York Jets with their first rushing touchdown of the season from half a yard out.
Well, again, congratulations all around as they've got this game well in hand. And I think we'll really see some work on the Jets running game in the fourth quarter.
Jets with 10 points off 3 Jacksonville turnovers, all interceptions, and Sean Green from a half yard out dives into the end zone.
Nice job by DeBrickashaw Ferguson, the left tackle. Boy, he gets some good movement. Connor comes in with a good lead block. That was the exact opposite of the play before where Jacksonville got the penetration. This time here, the surge all belonged to the guys in the old Titan blue. Yeah, look at that great block by DeBrickashaw, number 60. What a fantastic block.
The numbers today for McCown on the left, Sanchez on the right.
Kind of close your eyes when you're looking at those ones on the left.
Maurice Jones-Drew has contributed 76 yards to the ground game. And Dustin Keller, 5 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown. Well, and of course,
Jack Del Rio, Greg, telling us about Blaine Gabbert and when he's ready and when he's not ready. This might be accelerating the process here, a performance like this.
We had a pretty good conversation with Jack Del Rio about what he had to go through and what figured into his decision to let David Garrard go. And he basically was saying that David Garrard was going to be the number 3 quarterback. And you can't justify paying what he would have been making as the number 3 quarterback.
No.
This ball will come out to the 20-yard line, and while they do that, we'll do this. Wednesday on Showtime. JB, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms, Warren Sapp return to cable's longest-running show inside the NFL every Wednesday on Showtime. There's Blaine Gabbert.
And, he's got the tools. It came out of a spread offense at the University of Missouri, but he's still got he just didn't have the time. And again, with no offseason, just didn't have the time to make it the number 1.
McCown intercepted over the middle. Picked off by Josh Maga.
Oh, this is painful now. That's a 4th interception by Luke McCown. This is a catastrophe.
Maga is the 2nd-year linebacker out of Nevada.
Nothing fancy about this, just sitting in the zone. He barely has to move. And McCown trying to force the ball to Mike Thomas just either doesn't see him, underthrows it. The litany of poor decisions grows.
And on the near sideline, Blaine Gabbert has put a helmet on.
Well, at some point in time, even if you just tried him out there to hand off.
Sean Green to about the 15. And there is the rookie from Missouri taking a snap or two from the center, Brad Meester.
I'm sure Jack Del Rio, under no circumstances, envisioned a scenario outside of injury where Gabbert would be in this game, but who envisions 4 interceptions by the end of the 3rd quarter? Nobody who doesn't like to be entertained by nightmares.
Jets at the 16, 2nd and 7. Sanchez on the crossing pattern, Dustin Keller. Keller spins inside the 10 to the 5. It'll be 1st and goal.
Well, right now, Mark Sanchez is playing a game of I'm going to throw it to Dustin Keller and you can't stop me. Brian Schottenheimer calling the plays, but again, that was some good pass protection. Mark had a chance to allow that crossing pattern to develop, and they're going to let the clock run out here in the 3rd quarter.
In another 6 seconds, we will have come to the end of the 3rd quarter. With the score, the Jets 29 and Jacksonville 3. Coming back to MetLife Stadium in New Jersey after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Back for the start of the 4th quarter. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, our producer Mark Wolf, our director Bob Fishman. And look at Dustin Keller. He's made those catches count, hasn't he?
That's called production.
1st and goal for the Jets as they try to build on a 29-3 lead. Play fake, lobbing over the middle, and he overthrew Plaxico Burress.
And that's saying something. Plaxico Burress is a big, tall guy, and to overthrow him is no easy chore. This is where he's just, you can see he gets hung up a little bit. Mark was expecting him to be a little deeper into the end zone, as he got a bump as he was on his way back there
from Duran Landry. Second and goal.
What a red zone target Burris is.
Green.
That handoff exchange between Sanchez and Green, there was something wrong with it. I'm not sure if Sanchez didn't expect him to take it or he turned the wrong direction. Mark might have spun out of there the wrong way. Either Green went to the wrong side or Sanchez spun the wrong way. I can't tell which was which, but that was lucky that it didn't end up being a ball on the ground.
Tomlinson to the backfield, third and goal. Keller back on the field. Sanchez had his arm hit as he let go, and it falls incomplete in the end zone.
Well, and that's where a quarterback can get hurt. That's where a guy can get hurt when you get hit in the act of throwing like that, and Mark Sanchez did not get up quickly.
That was Matt Roth in on Sanchez.
And that hurt. I mean, Mark Sanchez was down on the ground for a minute, and you can see right now he's a little shaken.
Nick Folk from 23 yards out is good. And so it is now 32-3 as Mark Sanchez tries to shake off that shot to his right arm and shoulder. 32-3 Jets. 17 Jets points in the last 4:47 as Mark Sanchez goes over details on the sideline. And meanwhile, Blaine Gabbert, the first-round draft pick out of Missouri, getting set to come onto the field. This is Deji Kareem from his own 1-yard line. Out across the 20 to about the 26 or 27-yard line. So Gabbert will take over at the controls for the Jacksonville offense. This is a young man who was 18-8 in 2 years as a starting quarterback at Missouri and over 6,800 yards passing.
Oodle's a talent. Obviously no experience in the National Football League, and you know, this entire rookie class coming in got shortchanged in the amount of work that they would normally have by this stage of things, and you know, they're all in the all in the position playing catch up.
Gabbert going to hand it off to Jones-Drew, and Jones-Drew out over the 35 to about the 38-yard line. Drafted with the 10th overall pick from Missouri, and the third quarterback taken behind Cam Newton and Jake Locker. And Gabbert, as I said, a 2-year starter at Missouri, 18-8 overall and 6,822 passing yards and 40 touchdowns. Knows how to throw the ball.
Grew up about a half a mile from my house in St. Louis. I saw the kid play in high school.
Jones-Drew to about the 42. Meanwhile, Luke McCown is going to have the rest of the day off, and he's had a rough day.
Oh, yeah, a little sympathy involved here. 4 interceptions, a serious overthrow. There's not seeing anyone underneath. A softball to Cromartie that he almost scored on, and then this last one to McGaw. That just, you can't hardly put into words what a. And that's right, sack for a safety as well.
On 2nd and 6. Gabbert to throw for his first time in the NFL. The short one to Jones-Drew, running room, midfield, and out of bounds at the Jet 47.
And, you know, down 32-3 in the fourth quarter. Now, you know, when Dirk Cutter is calling plays, it's all about protecting Gabbert. He's not a child. I mean, but you want to give him some high percentage things. You want him to experience a little success, to feel good about things, and the more his teammates can try to do to keep from having any more 3rd and 15 and 3rd and 20s would be very much appreciated by number 11.
He has Deji Kareem in the backfield behind him. Play fake to him. Pump fake, and he's going to go long and overthrowing everybody. Mike Thomas was deep. Cromartie was there along with him. Cromartie with 2 picks on the day, looking hungry again.
Now, man coverage, as you see all the, so much of the time. And then when the ball's in the air, if it comes down to speed to get the ball, Cromartie's going to win that.
But that's pretty good job coverage, isn't it?
Yeah. Here we are, another game where, like, Darrelle Revis, is he playing?
Revis Island hasn't been visited much today.
No, of course he's playing, and he's just, nobody goes there.
2nd and 10, quick pass out to this side. Zach Miller inside the 35, and that'll be a first down on Gabbard's first NFL completion.
Well, I don't know that when
Second, my mistake.
Management at Jacksonville, and they made the move to release David Garrard. Not sure they envisioned this, where by the end of the 2nd game of the season, Blaine Gabbert would already be on the field, not because of injury, but because of lack of production.
Going to throw again if he gets the chance. Runs out of bounds at about the 32-yard line.
Hey, some pretty nifty moves for such a big guy. Calvin Pace was in there after him. Keep in mind, this is 6'5", 235. This is pretty nimble getting out of that pocket.
We thought McCown was big, but McCown is 6'4" and about 215.
Blaine Gabbert, just being a kid, you got to wonder if he's not going to end up looking like Ben Roethlisberger or something in that 245 range once he goes through a couple of years of the strength and conditioning program. He's got the frame.
2nd and 9. This is Kareem, and Kareem not getting anywhere. Mike DeVito, Marcus Dixon combining for the stop.
It really was interesting, Greg, wasn't it? Just, hearing Jack Del Rio talk about David Garrard and his terrible training camp and how they had, in his estimation, they had no choice but to release him because he had played his way all the way down to the third point.
And as he said, it makes no sense to pay a third stringer $8-9 million. Pass over the middle, tipped and grabbed inside the 25-yard line by Zach Miller.
And there's Gabbert's first initiation in the National Football League as he gets drilled as he released that ball. Take a look at this. Jamal Westerman, the blitzer, he just really cracks Gabbert a good one. And again, hits him with the shoulder, misses him with the helmet. But that one, that's an owie.
So it's 4th and 2. Going to give it to Maurice Jones-Drew, and Jones-Drew will be stood up short of the 25-yard line, and the Jets will take over on downs. Brian Thomas led the defensive charge. Hey, once again, time to acknowledge the great pictures from the MetLife Blimp, providing today's aerial coverage. The Blimp travels over 60,000 miles a year to cover sporting events and television specials throughout the United States. Joe McKnight into the backfield for the Jets. He gets the carry to about the 28-yard line.
And the backup quarterback for the Titans today is Mark Brunell, 41 years old. After that last shot that Mark Sanchez took, well, on cue. How's that?
From your mouth to coach's
ears. I
ears.
just figured after that last shot that Sanchez took, we're not going to see him throw the football anymore. No big deal handing it off. But smart move getting out of there.
41-year-old Mark Brunell in his 19th season out of Washington. This is McKnight again. To about the 30.
Well, any way you look at it, the Jets are now 2-0, which is a good start to the season. And while it hasn't been perfect, 2-0 is 2-0.
I think it's a little strange for Mr. Brunell to stare across the line at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, considering he was the face of that franchise for so many years.
And out to the 32-yard line, well short of a first down. And they will kick it away. Meanwhile, Sanchez finishes the day 17 of 24 for 182, 2-2.
Well, the 2 interceptions will upset him, and the fact that he's now got 3 in the first 2 games. But those are things you can clean up. I'm sure they'll go to work on that. You know, the Jets now get ready for a 3-game road trip that really is going to test them, going all the way to Oakland, to Baltimore, to New England. That's some trip.
This is Shorts with a short return. Marquise Cole with the stop. Blaine Gabbert will give it another shot. Both starting quarterbacks out of this game for very different reasons. For Mark Sanchez, this game is all but iced. And Luke McCown just did not get it going today. This is Deji Kareem. We're talking about that stretch on the road that the New York Jets were facing, Dan.
Well, yeah, again, it starts off with having to go all the way to the West Coast to play the Raiders. But then how is that for a couple back-to-back games, having to go to Baltimore and to New England? Now that is, wow, that is a lot of work.
And the San Diego Chargers are still on the radar too. 2nd and 8. Doubleheader action. Games coming up once this one winds down. Kareem to about the 30. Let's get an update from JB and Dan Marino.
Greg and Dan, west to east traveling, not hurting the Raiders today.
And Jason Campbell bringing his team back from behind. He hits Darren McFadden in the flat. Oakland up 27-24 in the 4th.
McFadden, 19 carries, 66 yards, 5 catches, and 51 yards in the touch. It's 28-24 Raiders. Back to Greg and Dan.
Thanks, JB. Boy, you got to give the Bills credit. They came from behind to grab the lead. And the game's not over yet.
Buffalo is a hard place to win.
That pass over the middle to Mike Thomas is complete. And that's enough for a first down. Clock continues to move. We're under 5.5 to play. Meanwhile, Jacksonville travels to Carolina next week.
They go to Carolina next week, and then they're home for a couple of games against the Saints and the Bengals. And, you know, they'll go to 1-1. And again, you know, this is just a team that, you know, it's built to play a certain way. And if they fall behind, they've got issues.
Short drop for Gabbert, and now he's under the gun and goes down. And Bart Scott all over.
And you know, Bart Scott is becoming a really very effective blitzer. And there he is. You see him, 57, standing up right there. And you know, it's kind of a delayed blitz. And look how close Gabbert came to losing the ball. It bounces from his right hand over into his left as Bart Scott is pinning his right arm to his chest. That was fortuitous.
2nd and 20. And they're going to run it with Kareem to the 31. And it will be 3rd and a bunch as we approach 4 minutes to play.
Well, this is an interesting situation now for Dirk Cutter and the offense here. What do you actually try to convert this and see if Gabbert can learn something by being in this situation against his defense, or do you just you go ahead and run the old draw play?
One thing for sure we've seen today, and now we've got penalty flag.
"12 men in the offensive huddle, 5-yard penalty, third down."
And when it starts to go wrong, it goes wrong. Want to remind you, stay tuned for the Verizon update, time permitting. One thing Jets fans did see today is a return to prominence of their Jet defense.
Yeah, they did. And we talked early on in the telecast about that they were challenged by their coaches. That said a couple of years ago, this Jacksonville team out-toughed them. No player wants to hear that.
Garrett, screen. This is Kareem. And Kareem, a lot of contact on the far side of the field. And he's brought down at about the 36-yard line, well short of the first down. Antonio Cromartie right in the middle of it.
Well, that's a good call, I think. That's a good way to let Gabbert throw a pass, get a completion, but, you know, extremely safe. Don't ask him to drop back in that pocket and throw it 25 yards down the field. The deck is stacked against him in that respect.
And once again, 43-year-old Matt Turk set to kick it away. That's Jeremy Curley deep, and there's Turk.
If only we could put 41-year-old Mark Brunell back there as a returner. We'd have something, wouldn't we? The old age bowl.
Oh, look at that kid. It's not a 43-year-old leg, is it?
No, it's live.
.241 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Plexico Burress, no catches today. Threw at him twice.
Well, at least there was a little more balance today by the Jets. 29 runs and 25 passes. That's more along the lines of what they do.
This is McKnight on the right side.
You know, just keep in mind last week when they beat the Cowboys, they had 48 passing plays and 16 running plays.
As you take a look at some numbers, you know, some interesting things happening in and around the league today that the guys back in the studio will be talking about today.
I see Cam Newton had the yardage, but he had 3 picks as well. But again, another 300-yard day. Plus, Kenny Britt, again, another monster day receiving. Larry Fitzgerald, no surprise seeing him up there.
And before the play clock expires, time will run out here to the 2-minute warning. And we'll get the whistle, and we've got 2 minutes to play. The New York Jets 2 minutes away from going 2-0 on the season. They lead at 32-3. We'll be back right after this. Number 24, Darrelle Revis. Number 20, Kyle Wilson. Basking in the glow of a 32-3 Jet lead. You know you're a good quarterback and they won't even throw in your direction, Dave. This is McKnight.
Well, let's be realistic, Greg. This is a Jacksonville passing attack that doesn't scare anybody, and it's certainly not going to scare Darrelle Revis. You know, McCown again, and a relatively inexperienced guy, and now Gabbert taking his place. But that's, I remember the one time when they did go at Revis today, and we couldn't even see the receiver. He had blanketed him to the point where he didn't even show up.
Blanketed doesn't even do it justice.
Darrelle Revis is he's as good as advertised, and just getting better. Keep in mind he's still very young, 26 years old.
Kind of interesting to think about who Jack Del Rio may be considering to start at quarterback next week.
Well, he'll have some interesting questions launched at him from the Jacksonville press corps. You're right. I don't know what he does. It's got to start with where he thinks Gabbert is. If he thinks Gabbert isn't ready, if he thinks it would be a disservice to put him out there. Well, then he's got to go back to McCown. That's all he's got.
Well, what if he's not ready, but what he has in the rookie is better than what he started with today?
Well, then you got to make a decision. Can he handle being thrown into the breach?
Cecil Shorts. Fair catch called for and made at the 35-yard line. 27 seconds on the clock. There is Luke McCown. If you remember, this is a doubleheader day, and doubleheader action coming your way here on CBS.
In San Diego, New England, the marquee matchup, and again, you want to see some quarterback play. You're going to see some in that game between Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady.
Houston looking to go 2-0 down in Miami. And we'll see them next week down in New Orleans.
Talk about a shootout. I mean, those are two good offensive football teams going at it there.
This running play brought Bolin, and that will probably do it for the afternoon. The Jacksonville Jaguars fall to 1-1 while the Jets improve to 2-0 and avenge a game that they felt they should have won 2 years ago when Jacksonville came in here and won it 24-22. Our final score, the Jets 32 and the Jaguars 3. For Dan Deerdorf, Greg Gumbel saying so long from MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Coming up next, most will see doubleheader action. We'll go back to New York for the NFL Today update presented by Verizon after this.